Mark, what's been your immediate reaction to the news that John Keir has left the club by mutual consent and you've been placed in charge of the Bradford Bulls in an interim capacity?
It's been mixed, Mick, if I'm honest. Nobody likes to see anybody lose a job, and everybody here, the staff, the players, all held John and still do hold John in the highest of regard. So it's been a disappointment. It's been, something that we've got to deal with, but it's also tinged with an excitement. So it's bittersweet for me. Absolutely delighted to take the job on an interim basis. But again, I would have rather it been under different circumstances and John not losing his job.
2 days on from that news of John's departure, what's the reaction been like from the players?
Again, they're disappointed, Mick. Nobody within this group dislikes John Keir. He's an hard bloke to dislike. He's a good bloke, and he's got the respect of everybody. So there's been, the initial shock and disappointment on Tuesday, and then I've been absolutely blown away by the phone calls from the playing group, offering their support and their backing going forward, which is very humbling.
You just mentioned about going forward. Is that the key emphasis from yourself? Obviously, what's happened previously under John is in the past. It's all about a fresh dawn and positivity moving forward.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the club's bigger than any one individual, and it was here long before any of us, and it'll be long after us, God willing. So it's got to be, the disappointment's real, but it's got to be about moving forward, and the immediacy is Whitehaven away on Sunday. So my job is to get the players ready for that and energised for that, and that's the job we're undertaking at the moment.
It's no secret, Mark, the club is going through a bit of a lean spell at this moment in time, result-wise, which has obviously seen John depart the club. Will there be changes from yourself to try and change results?
I think there's got to be, Mick. Yeah, there's got to be changes. We'd much rather have been sat here, with 9 or 10 victories in the season so far. But the reality is we're not. We are where we are. It's a results-driven, industry, and John's been in it for 30 odd years, so he knows that better than anybody. And we've got to change some things, because if change wasn't needed, I wouldn't be sat here talking to you now. So I've got a few ideas on how we're going to do that. It's going to start by the energy that we're portraying, the energy that we get from the players, and that's going to be the basis of what we're doing moving forward.
In terms of the ambition and goals this year for the club, obviously you're taking over now, Mark, 9th in the table on points difference. It effectively is a must-win important game against Whitehaven on Sunday.
I think every game's a must-win game, Mick, because we work for the Bradford Bulls, and that's not disrespecting anybody else, but we should be looking to win every game we go into, and we certainly will while I'm in charge. But calling things must-wins and things like that, I think that's putting undue pressure on people. So what I want to do is take the pressure away from the players. If people want to put pressure on me, that's absolutely fine, but I'm going to shield the players. I'm going to put an arm around them, and I'm going to protect them from external pressures. The only pressures I want them to play with under is the pressures that we put on each other. So, I'm going to ask them to express themselves without fear and without pressure, and I'm willing to take the pressure on their behalf.
Just focusing on yourself for a moment, Mark. Obviously, the Bradford Bulls has a rich heritage and history of players coming from the scholarship to academy to reserves to first team. How does it feel you're effectively someone who's been coach of the scholarship, the reserves, and now you're in this interim head coach capacity?
Yeah, I'm immensely proud, Mick. I'm a Bradfordian, and we love the city, and it's a proud moment to lead, one of the biggest sporting organisations within the city. It's not about me. That's the key thing, though. In this, it's about this club, and it's about giving this club and the spectators what they want, what they deserve, and it's about utilising the playing group we've got and really bringing them together and getting them going forward. So, yeah, people will ask me questions. I'm more than happy to answer some of them, but it's not about Mark Dunning, it's about Bradford Bulls.
Nigel Wood, the chairman and owner, has said that he's going to start the potential recruitment process. Have you spoke to Nigel about potentially putting your name in the ring to take over permanently?
Yeah, I've spoken to Nigel 2 or 3 times this week, as you can imagine. I got the initial call from JK, really humbled by the fact that when the agreement was made with him and the owners for him to leave the club, he asked if he could speak to me after he spoke to his wife, obviously, and tell me the news first, which was humbling. I met him up here and we had some dinner together and said goodbye. But I was humbled again by the fact that he advised the club to give me an opportunity, which they have done. So I'm well aware of the opportunity I've got. I'm well aware that results and the way we play will determine what happens with that. And I make no secret, and I've not done in the past, that I have ambitions to be a head coach. So that's about me, but this is not about me. This is about the club, and should the club see fit to appoint me in the future, great. Should they see fit to appoint another coach from here or from overseas, then that's in the club's best interest.
Has there been any time frame discussion between you and Nigel over how long this process may or may not take?
No. There's been a couple of things that we've said privately that'll stay private. But right now I'm looking at Whitehaven away, and then I've got a 2-week block to really work with the players on the changes and the tweaks that we want to make to how we've been playing, to prepare for York at home. So all I've been told is to do the job to the best of my ability until I'm told otherwise, and more than happy to do it.
You mentioned a lot of phone calls, Mark, on the back of the news that you're the interim head coach. Who were those two? I mean, did you speak to one of your good friends, Rowan Smith, who of course is due in the country this next week? Yeah.
I've spoke to Rowan and Chev, at Leeds there, and I've had phone calls from a number of people in the game, Mick, and some out of the game as well. It's been really humbling at some of the nice messages and calls I've received. But again, I don't want this to be about me. It's much appreciated. I'm glad they're thinking of me, and it really is appreciated. But this is now down to work and down to putting an arm around this group and leading them the best I can to better results.
Obviously, we saw a response to those back-to-back home defeats against Barrow and Halifax on Monday. Is that the standard that you focus this week in training on, the review, that has to be the minimum week in, week out now? Yeah,
it is, but we spoke about that after Lee, and we spoke about after the Lee home game that we'd set as standards at a level where if we maintained them, we'd win a damn sight more games than we lost, and we've fallen short of that a couple of times, and it's been for everybody to see. So I think the two key things at the moment is the one thing that we've got in our locker that we need to really capitalise on is the energy within the group, and the one thing that's going to hold us back is negativity. So I'm really focusing on everything we do in and around Tong is positive. I want to smile on everybody's face when they come through the door. I want them to smile while they're here and while they're working hard. And the negativity, like I say, I'm more than willing to take that and allow the players to just express themselves.
One area John always said was consistency, striving for consistency on the field in those performances. Is that going to be a continuation from yourself, Mark?
Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be. We'd all love to string an 80-minute performance together every time we play. It don't work like that. Even St Helens and people like that don't string 80-minute performance together every week. So, yeah, like I say, we need an energy, we need a focus, and we need a smile on people's faces. And on the back of that, we'll put building blocks in place to improve gradually and see where that takes us.
With you now interim head coach, what happens to the reserves and the under-19s and under-16s? How does that sort of coaching structure change, or does it stay the same? Are you still going to do it?
Yeah, it doesn't change too much too soon. I'm really keen on keeping everything as stable as we can. There's been some upheaval that's felt at the top of the playing group this week. I'm really keen not to let that ripple all the way down. So Friday night we've got a reserves game, and the existing staff that are in place will deal with that game. And then, as I say, the staff that we've got from under-16s right through to first team, I've spoken to them all over the last couple of days. They've all again given me the backing and the commitment to the cause, and we'll work through that as we see.
On that Whitehaven game, Mark, it's no secret, John mentioned there were 10 first team players out. Obviously, Aaron Murphy is going to be out for a prolonged period of time after going off, I think, after 10 minutes on Monday night. What's the current injury situation? I do believe from what John said on Monday night, that Ant Walker and Eben Sker potentially could feature on Sunday.
Yeah, Eben Sker is now out of the 11-day concussion protocol, so Eben will be available for selection. Fair play to Ant Walker, he's trying his absolute hardest. We've just had a meeting there with the staff, and the medical staff have got a few things that want to discuss later on. So Ant Walker's trying his very, very best, as is Billy Jowett. This week might come a little bit too soon, but we'll see later on down the chat. But yeah, Eben Sker is back, but as you've rightly said, unfortunately lose a player who I think has been outstanding in recent weeks in Aaron Murphy.
Is it too early to say whether or not you'll be looking into that sort of dual reg partnership with Leeds ahead of this weekend's game?
Well, I think Leeds are in the same situation as us at the moment in time, Nick, aren't they? So, yeah, like I say, I've spoke to Rowan, and I'm going to catch up with Rowan next week when he lands, and let him get himself sorted and acclimatised and everything, and then hopefully grab a coffee with Rowan. But we're not sure on the Leeds situation just yet. They play tomorrow night, and they're doing it tough as well. So we're planning without, and if we get somebody, all well and good. The
fact that you and Rowan have worked here previously, Mark, can you see that as a benefit moving forward throughout the rest of the season?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I've stayed in touch with Rowan since 2017, since I left Bradford, and we've had phone calls and text messages ever since. And he's a good bloke. He's certainly got the respect of everybody he works with here. So yeah, looking forward to seeing him and his family again, and hopefully that relationship can develop further and can progress the dual reg relationship that we have with Leeds as well.
We don't know what happens in the future, Matt, but we sit here, first week of you in interim charge. What would it mean to you personally if the results happen, and we've seen it happen in other sports where the interim manager comes in and there's a natural uplift, that positivity continues, and that person ends up becoming the new permanent head coach? What would that mean to you personally if you could emulate that here at Bradford?
I'd be as proud as Punch, Mick. I'm a Bradfordian, like I keep saying, so I'd be as proud as Punch with that on two fronts really, because the club would be doing well, the team would be doing well, and the results would be as they should be. And from a personal level, yeah, it'd mean a lot to me to lead this club permanently. But as I keep saying, it can't be about me, Mick. It's got to be about the boys. It's got to be about really galvanising this group and getting real tight again, and creating that energy, and then the negativity and things like that can stay at the door, and I'll deal with that. So if we can get the group into a position where they're playing some good, attractive rugby but still getting results, and things happen on the back of that, then I'll be delighted, but so be it.